We got to walk the walk and talk the talk. We need to model that behavior and really set that example as well. Our kids are watching us all the time. We can't be trying to have a conversation around the dinner table and be on the phone and then be telling our kiddos they can't do that. And we need to just be positive examples for them as well.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media and ask them questions we get from parents all over the country. Now, let's get back to the interview.
I'm Dr. Shon Hocker, Superintendent of Schools in Coeur d'Alene School District, located here in beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We have a school system of 16 schools with about 9,700 students.
Superintendent, it's so great to have you here today as we talk about keeping students safe so they can be successful and someday shine online. Using these tools that we give all of them, younger and younger, which I'm holding up my iPhone or Android for all of you listeners that are listening via audio instead of video. I'm excited to have you here today. We're going to get your insight, as we call this the Smart Social Superintendent Spotlight. We want to give you some of the biggest parent and district questions that we get from people, and we want to highlight your district leader insights on the latest social media safety issues that we hear about here at Smart Social as we serve millions of people all over the country, and especially those parents who want to keep their kids safe. For all of you listeners here today, it's so honored to have you here, and make sure that you stay to the end so we can tell you about our next events and all the exciting things that Smart Social is doing to make sure that you're a couple steps ahead of the dangers that your kids are going to learn about soon. Superintendent, once again, excited to have you here today. I want to ask you an important question about parent participation. A lot of superintendents and district leaders, such as yourself, we have 165 or so on the podcast as of today's recording, which I'm so honored. We get this question all the time. Josh, how do we engage parents? The more we can engage parents, the more we can partner with parents, the more we can work together to help keep kids safe and combat these dangers online. What are your suggestions for other districts to increase parent engagement? And are there any specific channels or events that get the biggest turnout for your district?
Oh, thanks. That's a great question. And I'm in the same boat as everybody else in regards to this specific question. And we've worked really hard here as a school district to engage our community. And certainly that's parent engagement. We run a levy every couple of years. And naturally speaking, that levy requires our community to provide support or not. It's vital that we have that levy passed. And so we have to have a very collaborative approach throughout our community so that everybody understands exactly what's at stake. Everybody understands what's going on in the district, where the funds are being used, the resources that are being provided. So we specifically set out this last year, for instance, with all of our schools to create a safe and collaborative and supportive community. And 6 of our schools, we've had an outside agency come in and actually perform an audit to confirm whether or not we are meeting these lofty goals. And 6 of our 16 schools have already essentially been certified in this move. And the rest of our schools have a goal to accomplish that by the end of this current school year. So by May of 2025. And this is all focused so that we can make sure that we are partners with our parents and our community in doing the work of educating our youth.
That's great. Yeah, parent engagement seems like it's the most important thing, and very interesting to bring out an outside auditor to make sure you're doing great work. The next question is really, to us here at Smart Social, the biggest question. And Superintendent, I don't know if you know this, but when I left Disney Studios at a very young age and learned how to brand things online, I ended up getting asked to go to school districts just like yours many years ago. We love Coeur d'Alene School District because I've spoken to your 10,000 students about 7-8 years ago, and I taught them all how to shine online. The title of my book being Light, Bright, and Polite. Every student learned how to get hired and fired and what celebrities are doing right and wrong and how to build an online brand. And it's so exciting. All of the community members really came out for that, and a tremendous amount of the students in middle school and high school learned that. So such an honor to contribute and share our message. A question for you is, what advice do you have for parents and students to help students use social media in a positive way?
Well, Josh, I'm not sure how long ago it was when you came to our school district, but it appears that many of those same tenets are in place today. We work very collaboratively with our community and with our students to have that social media presence. That's what they need, that's what they want, but that is also safe. We have a relatively small communications team here in our school district. That communications team is out in our schools, meeting with our community, trying to find avenues to help promote our students and be responsive to that. And then we work with our students specifically to highlight those school projects, those incredible community service events and things that the community does. We're very tight with our students. We're one of the few school districts in the state of Idaho that runs what we call a student advisory group that actually attends every school board meeting and is able to provide direct input to our school board, because we're all here in the business of educating students and we need to make sure our students have that voice. Well, in turn, as you can imagine, we want to make sure that they're being safe and they understand the pitfalls and just really what does it mean to have a positive digital footprint that represents really their work and what they're wanting to accomplish. And I think we're doing some great things here in our Coeur d'Alene area.
That's terrific. Okay, the next question that we get for all of our listeners, for our 2 million people that are visiting our website and our program each year, parents are always asking us, Josh, what makes these apps so addictive? Well, let's hear together from students as they explain why they can't stop scrolling.
I think the most addictive part about social media is the constant new content that you see. You're always being introduced to new content, especially on apps like TikTok. I think the short videos, when they end so quick, you start to lose your ability to have a longer attention span. I've caught myself finding long TikTok videos and I can't stand watching the whole thing.
This generation really adapted to the fact that we don't have a large attention span. We really only concentrate for 30 seconds. So getting information that quickly, I think, enables us to just want to keep watching more. You don't even need to care about what they're presenting to you, but just the fact that you can sit there and watch it and you're oddly enjoying it. Social media is pretty addictive. People have said it's like a drug. So it is addictive because you can't stop watching it. Your mind just plays on loop and it enjoys the fulfillment of everything firing in your brain to just keep watching.
Parents who are listening right now, remember that I think one of the biggest key takeaways from this video, these awesome high school students, is that they said we're trained to have a short attention span. And one of them on the right also said, I no longer want to watch the 60-second videos. I go straight for the 15-second, which is just crazy. Now, let's ask another parent question of students. And the biggest question we get of parents is, Josh, is social media positive or negative for my kiddos? Great question. Let's hear from a student and why they think these video apps are also so addictive.
Part of what makes social media so addictive is how the algorithms are based on using content to judge whether or not someone's worthy, and using people's short attention spans to evaluate them as pieces of code, which also means that social media doesn't really care about your opinion, but really what keeps you on that platform longer, whether that's from likes, comments of engagement, sharing it to other people, or even just watching it through. The algorithm judges you as a piece of data and whether or not someone should be praised for being controversial or thrown away for not being exciting enough, even if they're pouring their heart and soul into the content. It is a heartless beast. When I spend too much time on social media, that can look like being happy because something really cool happened in my friend's life. They went hiking. A friend I saw snow for the first time a couple of days ago. And it can make me feel really happy and energized. But other times, it can just be really draining. It can be really negative. It depends who I'm following. It depends what's being posted.
Okay, parents, we're about to jump back with the doctor, the superintendent, but I want to really reiterate what we're learning from teens these days and the smart social platform, the live events, the parent engagement, and so many things we're doing. Let's repeat this. Social media doesn't care about your opinion, just what keeps you on the platform longer. It's a heartless beast. Okay, let's jump over to the doctor now. Doctor, I want to talk about screen time in your community, and I want to get your advice for other communities nationwide. What are your tips that parents can do to better manage screen time at home?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. I think some of the things that we've seen some good success with is simply have an open communication with your kids and setting clear rules around what that might look like. You know, how much or how little can you use your tech? When can you use it? I think that has made a world of difference. Obviously, there's some tech solutions. You can create some trackers and monitor time and whatever else. But I think we've seen great success with that. We are a school district that has restricted cell phone use in our middle schools. And it's restricted to passing periods and lunchtime at the secondary schools. And this is our first year for really rolling that out, but it has created some tremendous response from our students in a very positive way. And it's helped them be encouraged to do other things. So I think another strategy for our parents is to help them be involved in other things where maybe a device, a technology, that screen time piece is not part of that hobby or outdoor activity or whatever. And then, of course, I think just like we all know, we got to walk the walk and talk the talk. We need to model that behavior and really set that example as well. Our kids are watching us all the time. We can't be trying to have a conversation around the dinner table and be on the phone and then be telling our kiddos they can't do that. And we need to just be positive examples for them as well.
Yeah, so well said. And what I really heard from you there as well, and so many of our district partners who are watching this right now are struggling with, how do we have a cell phone free solution for next year, for the following few years? Because I think we're all in agreement. I'm really speaking to parents right now and to district leaders. I'm going to put myself out there. And I really think that once our gut here at Smart Social becomes a reality, a lot of people, including the whole country of Australia, are saying that you can give your kids a device a little earlier, but they don't get social media until later. And that in Australia, as we've all seen in the news, it's 16 years and older. I've been talking with dozens of superintendents over the last couple of weeks, and they're agreeing with that number. Parents, once again, there is no shame if you've already given your kid a device at a younger age and they have some social. But as the superintendent said, it is important to walk the walk, meaning that we are modeling positive behavior. We're not looking at our phones as much. And I know it's addictive, even for us adults, but we're also talking with our kids about what is the safest thing to do. We're going to get to one of those live events. Those of you parents who are part of our partnership schools, we'll get to you about one of my most exciting events that we have coming up soon. That is a life-changing event to make sure you don't have arguments with your kids in the future. We're going to dive into right now. Big shout out and thank you to all of our partner schools. We have weekly live parent events and replays, 50 of them a year, maybe 70 next year. It's going to be out of this world. We have real teens in the program. You just saw that, parents, if you're watching this, saying, I'd really like to have my teen in the program. We have a student internship. It's amazing. They get a gift card and everything else. You can go to smartsocial.com and see that on the front page. Next is our premium parent newsletter that goes out to countless parents all over the country, that reaches people and keeps them safe. Now, step one, so many of our districts, reminder to districts, they're sending out our pre-written newsletter about our live events. And here's what Jerron Wilson says. It was so easy to fit Smart Social's event invites into our monthly newsletter. These live events cover the hottest topics that parents care about, and so it boosted our parent engagement. By the way, partner school districts, remember, we're giving a $5 Starbucks gift card to parents who come to this event. Thanks to our nonprofit, we're rewarding parents for coming to learn, and they get to earn. Step two is there's tons of feedback in the system like never before, and I say that as one of the top social media safety speakers in the country. Even in Coeur d'Alene, parents say, I love the information you taught me on how to keep track of my kids on the web. My family struggles with time management online. Parents are joining from all over the country on the weekly events. The outcome is 10 times the parent engagement and decreased incidents for staff. This is what a principal of Needham Elementary School said. We love Dylan. He says, we've had 50 social media incidents per year last year before we met Smart Social. Now we're down to 5 incidents, and I have more time to be a school principal again. Parents, if you're watching this, please come out to our live events. Let us reward you with some coffee. You will protect your family, protect your community, and you'll help our nonprofit get even better. We're so excited. Okay, speaking of which, we've got a lot of exciting events coming up as of the time of today. We have a lot of them on the front of the site. Those of you who are school district members, remember, January is all about shining online. We have session 1, shining online, building a positive footprint. If your kids are in elementary school and middle school, it still behooves you to start showing them positive behavior way before they're on social media. Think of it like a vehicle. Remember, you do not just give your kids the keys to the car at the age of 16 and go, now I'll teach you how to drive. No, you practice positive driving behavior when they are 7 years old, 8 years old and above, so they can see that you're not participating in distractive driving, that you're not getting angry at other people, but rather defensive driving and being positive on the road and safe. Next, my favorite event that will change this world. We are on the news because of things like this, parents. Protecting your family with a social media agreement. I want you to not hear the word agreement, but rather we give you a selection of 60 of the top questions to ask your kids. You pick the top 10, or you can ask all 60. It gets your family on the same page for 2025. And then all of a sudden now you are ready to go with less arguments, less distractions, less heartbreak, and more positive family time. We have Shine Online all month long, so we have 3 different sessions. And then Anti-Bullying Month goes all year long, so we have Combating Online Bullying, Supporting Positive Student Behaviors. This and a ton more. We're so grateful to my incredible team here at Smart Social. Let's go back to our guest, Dr. Superintendent. I want to hear from you on the next topic. let's talk about avoiding strangers and dangerous situations online. And I got to tell you, Doctor, this is our February content right here. This is what Smart Social leans in on, because we're here to keep kids safe. Then they become successful. Then they shine online at the age of 16 and above. So this is a huge part of what we believe in here. Question for you, Superintendent, is what is your advice to parents and students to avoid talking to strangers and avoiding dangerous situations online?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. It's important that we know how to avoid strangers online. They're fishing for your information all the time. And then when they get it, they can try to become you. They can just do a lot of harm. So really just making sure that we're very careful. We hear stories all the time of personal information and, contact information that might be breached and can put you at risk. So just again, being super cautious, I think, is very important. And then equally as important is this stuff changes all the time. And so I think, again, having your parents as a partner and sharing with them when these kinds of things happen so that right next steps can be made so that we can make sure that everybody is safe, protected, and maybe in fact things that are going on that are criminal or something like that will have an opportunity to get addressed by law enforcement. So we just got to make sure we have that communication going. Otherwise, it's just too tempting to enter in your information on some page because you think it's harmless. And next thing you know, you find out it's not. So just very important.
Yeah. Superintendent, what I'm hearing from you, in addition, if I read between the lines, and I want to remind parents, Smart Social is never paid by the big data companies. It's only by partner school districts and parents like you who want access to our live events to make you the most informed parent on the block. And what I'm really hearing here today that I 100% agree with, and our whole organization's behind, is the only safety app in the world, parents, that will wake up at 3 a.m. to protect your kids is you and a rich dialogue that you have with your kids. Having that healthy, ongoing dialogue. Oh my gosh, Josh, it takes a little effort. Yes, the best things in life take a little bit of effort, a little bit of time. And guess what? It's never a one and done. There's no one pill you can take or one app you download. Like, my kids are protected. If anybody tells you that, I'm here to tell you, as one of the leaders in the space, you should be cautionary on that, and your spidey senses should be up. It is a little bit of parent effort, a little bit of parent time, goes a long way. Superintendent, am I right or wrong? I'm on a roll here, I feel like, with passion. Please set me straight.
You're on a roll. And yes, absolutely. You're spot on. I couldn't say that better. That's great advice.
Thank you so much. Okay, now, Superintendent, the next question I'd like to ask you, and this is big. And again, to all of our partner school districts, our superintendents who watch this, parents, social media incidents are going to happen. And we've heard from countless principals in our community. We love you, principals. You are a small town mayor. The superintendent here was probably a principal once in his past, and most of them are. But being a mayor of a small town as a principal means that over the weekend, there's a lot of incidents that might happen on social media in this modern day and age that we have. And then it's always about what happened. It comes on campus and so on. Superintendent, I'd love for you to reach into your community, give us some advice. What is your advice or what are your insights to other school districts to best get ahead of incidents that might happen off campus? Maybe it's on social media that could become a very real problem on campus.
Well, I think, be proactive, have some safeguards. We have some software solutions that do help alert us to specific comments and things that maybe might be big triggers for us. So we're able to get a head start on that. I think that's super important. But then just again, reiterating constantly with our students that we need to be able to have open dialogue. Kids are being duped. Parents and myself, we're being tricked at times thinking that we're doing A when really B is happening. And so it's really important that we feel comfortable to share those frustrations, to talk about those challenges, and try to work through those specific incidences that way. I've got several examples that have come to mind, but I know in our own school district, we may have somebody who may have said something, it's taken out of context. Next thing you know, it's spread out across the whole, social media world. And next thing you know, you've got a lot of angry students, angry parents now, a community potentially, in upheaval. And it's just really important that we recognize that and stay ahead of that as best as we can.
Yeah, well said. Things do get taken out of context. Part of our Shine Online program in January is all about building a positive brand, and any one little thing that they find on your Google results will indeed change the narrative you have. In more simple terms, it'll change the resume you have online, which is so important, parents. We here at Smart Social and my background in branding, we're here to help. So we'll look forward to seeing you on those next events. Hey, Superintendent, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been great. I really appreciate it. To all the amazing families in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, I still love you. It has been great to see your younger kids over the years who are now probably in high school. I think it was there 7 years ago, pre-COVID. What an honor. What a great place. I even went into your Costco, I think. I love that community. To the rest of you nationwide, absolutely, we appreciate all the feedback, the millions of people that are visiting our website, giving us that feedback so we can help to overcome a lot of the predators that are out there. There is the enemy, I call it the enemy outside and the enemy within. The enemy within is the screen time where it locks your kids into these phones and they don't know how to put them down. That's going to hurt their focus. That's going to hurt how they feel, their motivation. We have that all figured out for next summer. You're going to see a lot of events. The enemy outside is going to be those people who are trying to befriend your kids, who are trying to groom your kids, who are trying to be closer to your kids than you are. Come to our dialogue starter events, our social media agreement events, and let me buy you coffee, and I will change the way people are able to chat with your kids from outside your home. I promise you we'll make your kids a little more safe. That's our mission. That's our promise to all of our partner school districts. I'm really grateful for you as we try and keep kids safe. And the last thing I'll leave all of you with on this episode is whenever you're posting online, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite because your kids are watching what you're saying online. We'll see all of you on the next episode. Have a great rest of the day. Take care. Thanks for listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. Smart Social helps parents understand technology and social media to keep their kids safe and successful. Be sure to join one of our weekly online live events to become the smartest parent on the block so you can keep your kids safe and protect their future. Also, don't miss our 450 plus online resources and replays you can watch on demand in multiple languages. Are you a school district wanting to unlock these resources for your parents? Reach out to us so we can protect your whole community each week. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you on the next episode.